Why this bill, Black American Indigenous Recognition and Support Act, is important is because it is a milestone piece of legislation to be passed on behalf of all people of color who are descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Although Black Americans have contributed greatly to the wealth of the United States as a whole, they have yet to be compensated or rewarded for the labor that was used to create that wealth. Black people are the least to be represented in Congress because Black Americans are in the lowest financial, economic ladder of society. We have a voice only in voting. Unfortunately, our collective voting power has not yielded much in terms of economic upward mobility or sustainability. This is why we choose this method of leverage. This legislation will serve as a collective bargaining arrangement. Because Black Americans have been put in the lowest economic status by design, they don't have the leverage in Congress, but by signing this petition, it will unite all of our voices to bring about that change. The time for marches, speeches, and empty promises are over. Our ability to affect bills being passed into laws through our judicial system will bring about real systemic change for our communities. This bill will allow for DNA testing, providing evidence of African ancestry among many individuals in the United States who identify as Black Americans. Acknowledging the Indigenous heritage of Black Americans is a step toward recognizing their unique historical and cultural identity. For providing support and resources to Black Americans who identify as Indigenous is essential to addressing historical injustices and promoting equity and social justice. Here is the outline of the bill. Section 1 of the bill recognizes Black Americans as Indigenous people. Black Americans who can trace their ancestry to Indigenous peoples of the Americas through DNA testing shall be recognized as Indigenous people for the purposes of this act. Section 2 of the bill provides access to benefits for Black Americans identified as Indigenous under Section 1 shall be eligible for the following benefits. 1. Free health insurance. Eligibility for comprehensive health insurance coverage, including but not limited to medical, dental, and vision care. 2. Access to affordable housing. Priority access to affordable housing programs and initiatives. 3. Access to free or low-cost higher education. Eligibility for tuition-free or reduced-cost higher education opportunities, including vocational training, college, and university programs. 4. Low-income subsidies. Black Americans identified as Indigenous and earning less than 147% below the federal poverty line shall receive a monthly subsidy of $600 to support their financial well-being. Section 3 of the bill provides implementation and funding. The Department of Health and Human Services, in collaboration with relevant federal agencies, shall be responsible for implementing and administering the provisions of this act. Funding for the provisions of this act shall be allocated from the federal budget, with appropriations made as necessary to ensure the effective implementation of the benefits outlined herein. Section 4 of the bill is definitions explained. For the purposes of this act, the term Black American refers to individuals who self-identify as Black or African American. For the purposes of this act, the term Indigenous refers to individuals who can trace their ancestry to Indigenous peoples of the Americas through DNA testing. Section 5 of the bill establishes the effective date. This act shall take effect 90 days after its passage into law. This bill seeks to address historical injustices and provide tangible support to Black Americans who identify as Indigenous, recognizing their unique heritage and promoting equity and social justice. It is our goal to have all of the millions of Black Americans sign the petition to send our voices to Congress, that we need change, not speeches or more delays. This bill can heal our nation and bring about much-needed racial reckoning for our country and our children's future. This bill is not an unreasonable request. It has been done for our Native brothers and sisters and recognized as a tribal nation, and Black Americans should reserve the same right to bring about social justice. Please sign the petition form below this video and use the share button to help us spread the word. Let us be the change we need to see in the world. Pass it on. Thank you and have a great day.